listening to Sports Radio Detroit.
Hello and welcome to Grave Discussions. I am Barnabas.
And I am Samael.
And you're tuning in to episode number 26, one Jumpscare to rule them all.
If you don't get it, you suck.
Yeah, you're an idiot.
Dummy.
Stupid.
Stupid.
No, but we love you.
Throw milk at him.
We love you. But we're going to be talking about James Wan in this episode, and specifically the Conjuring universe of horror. And it's all going to be a lead up to none other.
Oh, man.
Get it? None other than the Nun.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
Yeah, we've been waiting for this one a while, and it's coming out, was it tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Thursday. Well, technically tomorrow, like night, but Friday. Yeah.
I've been waiting for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of okay. I don't want to spoil my thoughts on the Conjuring series. It's just that I've been waiting for the Nun a while.
Yeah.
And like, I really liked Annabelle too. The second Annabelle was really good. The first one, like I said, we'll talk about it. But
we'll get into that.
I've just been waiting to get into like the lore of these demons and like the backstory. I mean, I know Valak, you know, I know the Goetia and all those goetic demons and stuff, but I want to see like in the Conjuring universe like what he is.
Right, yeah.
What he does, and it's interesting to me.
I agree. And so, yeah, the Nun comes out Friday. We're going to talk about all of this stuff in more detail, but that's going to be later. Before we get into our first couple of segments here, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Sports Radio Detroit.
Yes.
Our gracious hosts.
The most gracious.
Yes, and you can find them on social media. They have a Facebook, an Instagram, and a Twitter as well. Just search Sports Radio Detroit. You can find our show on there and all of the other excellent shows. So right now we're going to move into our news. It's been an okay week, but
this was kind of surprising.
So Henry Cavill, or however the fuck you say his last name, Superman, is officially cast now as Geralt for the Witcher 8-episode series, which I think is supposed to be premiering on Netflix. Yeah.
I didn't know Witcher was gonna get a fucking series. What the fuck?
It's pretty cool because I mean, I have played Witcher 3. I love that game.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about it.
It's really good. It does have some horror elements because you know it's in this like foreign land and there's all these monsters and everything. And Geralt himself is like a mutated human, and basically is deemed like a monster in order to fight monsters. So it's pretty cool. I mean, the lore is like super great, and there's actually been like a lot of books, which is where the games originated from.
I don't know that shit.
Yeah, so it makes perfect sense as like a series because, you know, each episode can be like its own story, or more than likely they're gonna have you know, this like overarching story or something.
Right.
Which I think is the case because the plot synopsis says that Geralt struggles to find his place in a world where people often prove more wicked than beasts, but then he finds a powerful sorceress and a young princess, I wonder who those could be, with secrets, and then they go on adventures and shit. So I'm pretty excited for it. About the casting, I think that it could work. There's kind of like a cool mock-up image on this article on Bloody Disgusting of like Henry Cavill as Geralt, and it looks pretty good, I think. So if they do that like makeup kind of,
it looks close to that picture above. So
yeah, so I think it could work. And you know, I wouldn't say that he needs like a lot of range to play Geralt, because Geralt is supposed to be like devoid of human emotion and shit like that, but that in itself I feel like is really demanding for an actor. So we'll see. I mean, hopefully he does it, and hopefully he plays the character well, because I think that would be pretty impressive.
Gotta be honest, I think it's gonna be one of those series that after 8 episodes it's gonna disappear.
honestly, if the 8 episodes are good, then I'm perfectly okay with that. You know,
I'm not. If they're good, I'd want it to continue.
I'd want to see more. I'm just saying, like, if the viewership wasn't there and they had to cancel it, then it would be okay as long as the season was good. You know.
Yeah, I mean 8 episodes though. I mean, why such a weird fucking? Why not 10?
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I think it's a fine number. They're probably gonna be like an hour long. So, and maybe that's really all the story they had. I don't know, but be on the lookout for that. There is no official release date yet, as far as I could tell, for the Witcher series. But Henry Cavill just cast. Hopefully, they begin production soon. The next article here.
This looks fucking great.
Yeah, this is probably the thing I'm most excited about. So John Boyega, who plays Finn in the new Star Wars movies, and also a lesser known character from a great horror kind of sci-fi creature thing called Attack the Block, is producing a new creature feature called a Spriggan.
A Spriggan? What's a Spriggan?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, Sam. So Spriggans, according to the article here, and I know a little bit about them, were typically depicted as spirits related to the trolls of Scandinavia.
Okay.
Characterized as grotesquely ugly, wizened old men with large childlike heads.
Wow, that sounds great.
Yeah. So
from the photo I'm looking at right here, you guys just look up a Spriggan and you'll see this.
It looks cool.
Looks like it's climbing out of bricks.
I think this is like a statue, or something like that. But
we need more creature features, and I really like now that they're kind of like slowly creeping back up.
Yeah.
What's that other creature feature that I showed you? That not I showed you, but you said like I tagged you in it, and you said you've heard of it.
Oh,
Willow Lake.
Yeah, or Cherokee Creek.
Was it Cherokee?
Cherokee
what the
Creek,
fuck is Willow Lake?
I have no fucking idea.
That's probably another movie. Yeah, Cherokee Creek. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm a little off today, but
no, it's cool.
Jeez, but
yeah, Cherokee Creek. That one looks really cool.
Dude, that and this, like, dude, dude, that's what made my fucking like the childhood Pumpkinhead, the relic, shit dude. Like that.
Because they were really cool and terrifying at the same time.
Now, then we go. Now the modern thing is ooh, ghosts. Oh my! Look at the ghost. He moved the frying pan, and the frying pan wasn't there originally. Like, fuck you.
I'm appreciating monster flicks more because they've been trying to go back to doing more practical effects and less CGI shit, and that's pretty cool. Like the monster, I don't really think a lot of that stuff was CGI. And hopefully this won't be as well, but the premise sounds super cool.
I like stuff based upon like local legends, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Every city has their own thing. What does Michigan have? We have
I think there's a lot of stuff in Michigan. There's like that Eloise Hospital, or whatever the fuck it was. There's a movie about that too. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff in like the UP. I think.
You know, in our city, they say like on haunted locations, they have Saint Ladislaus like right there, like as haunted places, because they used to perform exorcisms on children in the rooms, like literally right here. Like,
wow, that's pretty crazy. I heard something about the UP too, and then we have our own folklore about the Penny Yeti. Yeah, but that's for another day.
Yeah, that's you guys don't know about the Penny Yeti, and
no, but you will.
You won't see him coming.
Yeah,
you'll just see your piggy bank slowly deflate.
Be prepared for a Penny Yeti campfire episode.
They don't even know. They don't even know what's going on. We should totally make a fan film.
Yeah, that would be great.
Just us two do it. Just fucking
I agree.
drop. But dude, okay, seriously, one sec. The Penny Yeti. Okay, so we were at school, right?
Just give the very basic.
And it was the winter time. I put a penny in a very, very obscure place. I put it like on the corner of like a concrete sidewalk. But a really obscure path. Mm-hmm. We go back there a few hours later, the penny's gone. Yeah. And the only logical explanation is not that someone kicked it into the grass or something, but there is a Yeti who's going on about collecting pennies.
I mean, the Yeti is probably like in shit tons of debt, and that he just collects everything he can.
He's probably in the 3rd floor of the library, just
probably
hiding out, just watching people.
So anyway, if you're excited about all the new creature features, be excited for a Spriggan. It's also got 2-time Oscar-winning visual effects supervisor Neil Corbould and his company Neil Corbould Special Effects handling the creature design. So you know it's going to be a lot of practical effects.
Oh yeah,
so I'm excited.
And practical is what kind of practical effects can like really make a creature movie, and CGI can really break a creature movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Honestly, if the relic was not released when it was released, that CGI, it would be fucking horrendous. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
people would be like, "What the fuck is this? You fucking
Yeah.
you copied and pasted a video game monster into
Yeah,
this movie."
for that time, like with
That was-
how the rest of it was visually done,
Yeah, that was crazy at the time.
it made sense, and it was super cool.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, I'm excited to see more practical stuff in this movie. Be on the lookout for that. The next one actually is also, I think, going to be kind of a harken back to more like, 80s stuff, possibly practical effects stuff. It's a new movie called The Shed. That's
like
going to
it
be
already.
Yeah, it's going to be done by the producers of Frozen, not the Disney
I know
one.
the horror movie. Well, I
The
haven't
horror
seen it.
movie.
I heard it was garbage.
I liked it actually.
Really?
I thought it was good.
I don't know. I heard it was garbage. That's all I know about it.
I thought it was good.
Hatchet. We already know
Hatchet.
what we feel about Hatchet. Hatchet is awesome.
Yeah,
The first one and the second one, and
even the third
the
one's
third
pretty
one's
good.
okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know about Victor Crown.
I don't know about that one.
Horrible, horrible.
But overall, we like those movies, and The Shed sounds really cool. It's starring Frank Whaley and Cody Costro, and essentially what I got from the plot synopsis is that a kid is living with his abusive
hold on.
grandpa.
Hold on, read this. The film is a Bigger Boat production. The company behind Frozen, Saw 6, and the forthcoming Pumpkinhead remake.
Mm-hmm.
When the fuck are they remaking
I
Pumpkinhead?
think I heard like something small about that, but
I haven't
yeah, I
heard
don't know.
anything.
We'll look more into it and then we'll talk about it.
Holy shit.
But yeah, anyway, the story is about this kid living with his abusive grandpa, and then he's got a best friend who's bullied at school, and then he finds out that in his shed there's like some kind of monster or something, and he's basically trying to like lure the bullies there so the monster can eat them or some shit like that. I don't know, but it's a cool premise, and I feel like it's got to have some kind of 80s vibe to it because the poster itself has like a huge 80s vibe to it.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool poster. So.
I like movie titles like The Shed,
Yeah.
The Barn,
The Cabin or
The
whatever.
Cabin in the
Yeah.
Woods, the
whatever. Yeah.
the Boy.
It's very simple, but I mean, it gets the point across.
Exactly.
You're immediately intrigued, like, okay, what about the shed, So I'm pretty excited for this one. There's no release date yet, but it was pretty much just announced. But be on the lookout for The Shed. Put it on your calendars somewhere. Just scroll, just all over.
When's it coming
The
out?
Shed.
Did they say?
They don't say.
God.
I know.
God.
But let's move on now. I got a couple quick trailer announcements for you guys. The first is a pretty big one. It's Halloween, but it's the second official trailer.
It looks dope. It
It
looks
does
really,
really
good.
cool,
I can't wait for. Honestly, this is probably the horror movie I've cared about the most since like the Jason remake.
Damn, yeah.
'Cause
From like 2009 or something.
yeah, they did that shortly after the Michael remakes,
Yeah.
and those were whoosh.
Yeah.
So the Jason remake was a breath of fresh air, and I really liked it. So now this, ignoring like the whole Thorn universe, ignoring the whole Michael is Laurie's brother.
Yeah, it's just
ignoring
Michael is a
everything.
crazy killer,
Yeah,
basically.
and now she's obsessed with him. He doesn't care about her. He broke out so he could just go kill more people.
Yeah. But go check out the second trailer. The first one was like really action packed, and this one kind of was too, but it features some more like suspenseful, like stalking
I love
shots
those.
at the beginning.
Oh
It was
God, I
so
love
good.
those.
It reminded me of Halloween 1 and 2 like a lot.
I don't want to sound like a fanboy, but I'm so glad Blumhouse is doing Halloween.
Yeah, me too. I think they're going to do it justice, but let's move on.
For sure.
The next trailer announcement we have for you
Camp
guys
Outbrook.
is called Camp Coldbrook. Yep, and this one I was kind of excited about because it's got not only Chad Michael Murray,
And she has my childhood crush,
Yep.
the love of my life,
your girl
the love of my life.
Danielle Harris. Yep, she's gonna be in this alongside Chad Michael Murray.
Dude, that was like my first I would say like celebrity crush was Danielle
She's a
Harris.
beautiful person, and she's like a great scream queen too.
Yeah, dude, she's 40. I think she's like 41, and she
41,
still
yeah.
looks like she's in her 20s.
Yeah. So I'm excited for it, man. Basically, the story is about. It's kind of cool. It's kind of like a teen campground thing, but they're a production crew, and then weird shit starts happening. So be on the lookout for Camp Coldbrook. Check out the trailer. There's no date of release just yet. The next one is called I Think We're Alone Now, and I've heard about this one before a little bit, but it's a new one with Peter Dinklage and Elle Fanning, and it's a post-apocalyptic thing, but it doesn't look like it's supposed to be zombies, so I'm not really sure what has happened, but it definitely seems like it's going to be more about just the relationship between these two characters who find each other in the apocalypse or during the apocalypse, and they have a bond and stuff. So I'm not sure exactly how horror this is going to be, but I don't know, anything post-apocalyptic probably has some kind of elements of it. So yeah, be on the lookout for that one. It's coming out everywhere on September 21st.
Oh, that's soon.
It's pretty soon. It's like 3 weeks or something from now. So yeah, go check that one out if you want. Right now though, we're going to move into our first segment of the episode, and it's going to be a good one. This is the Cult Corner. What are we talking about for this week's Cult Corner, Sam?
We're talking about the original, the OG, the first of its kind, the Adam, Dawn of the Dead, 1978. Directed by none other than the GOAT of zombie movies, George A. Romero.
Yep, R.I.P. George. You gave us so many good movies. Dawn of the Dead, a sequel to the first really great zombie film, Night of the Living Dead. Premiered in 1978, and mainly we're talking about it today because the film just turned 40 years old, which is insane.
Yeah, holy shit.
I mean, really, when you think about it, it's a pretty old ass movie, but it stands the test of time like crazy.
Oh yeah, I mean, the practical effects are great. I sometimes I wonder how they pull off these practical effects, because you remember at the beginning there was that black zombie, and he saw his wife, and she went to hug him, and then he just bit out a chunk of her skin.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, it kind of showed you how people are a problem too. Like at the beginning where they had that SWAT officer, he's like, let's kill these N-word and these Puerto Ricans. It's like, whoa, chill the fuck out.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of heavy messages and themes in the movie, even though George Romero didn't really want to be known as that kind of director. But even with something as simple as a gory zombie movie, he's talking about race and class issues in Dawn of the Dead. He's talking about consumerism with them being at the shopping mall and living like kings or whatever, and shit like that. So yeah, there's some heavy messages, but dude, the practical effects are one of the things that make this movie really cult.
Seriously, they're not really cheesy at all. It seems like,
I mean,
I don't know, they weren't cheesy to me. Some of the times, it seems like I'm watching a snuff film.
Kind of, yeah. Because I think the thing is that they obviously still look like people, but not like the Walking Dead zombies so much, where they just have away. Half their jaws missing, and they have a fish
pale.
eye or something.
Yeah, they're just pale, and there's a difference between this and the remake, which George said he didn't like about the remake. Is in the remake they were really fast.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have more than a 3-second shot on the zombies.
Yeah, dude, in all of his movies they're really slow.
Oh yeah, and I think that's how they
I think that's how they're supposed to be.
I think the only way zombies quote unquote should be sprinting is if it's some Dawn of the Dead shit, or some Resident Evil shit, some virus,
Yeah.
Not
21 Days Later, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, not like Dawn of the Dead, they die and then they come back to life, and then they're just time to fucking run as quick as Usain Bolt and just fucking catch these fucking people. And the thing that pisses me off in these movies too, they don't you don't really see animals really get eaten.
Yeah.
It's weird. Really. You just see people get eaten. It's bro, that's flesh.
Yeah.
People eat animals. So if you're just a body with just human instincts, what your first instinct is to eat other humans? That kind of bothered me.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that's a whole other
I think this
thing.
Another thing about this movie, honestly, I think people ruin everything. I think that was the whole message of this movie, because especially when those dudes show up at the mall and they move the fucking trucks, and then all the zombies fucking rush in, and then you're talking
about the biker gang.
Yeah, those motherfuckers.
Yeah, they were just trying to loot them,
Yeah, but it's bro, these people are trying to survive. Eat a fucking dick.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, I guess they were trying to survive too. I mean, we see these things very often in anything zombie related. The Walking Dead, notorious for it. The humans end up being the real
You
antagonist.
see, that's what I don't like. These, well, except Dawn of the Dead, like still the main focus was the zombies because you know they got in the helicopter at the end to flee from zombies, not from a fucking not. Literally from like, yo, we got to get out of here for this biker gang. It was like, no, let's get out of here before these fuckers eat us, you know?
Yeah, because the zombies in Dawn of the Dead were the message, you know?
Yeah.
They're supposed to represent how brain dead people have become, you know? That's probably why they eat other people. But like in The Walking Dead and stuff like that, where they're just kind of in the background, you know? Really, they're kind of just like, I don't know, like the mediators or some shit.
Yeah, the main story like is like the people, and I hate that. I like Dawn of the Dead because like it had elements. Yeah, people are shit too, and they can fuck up your whole plan. You could be barricaded somewhere, and then they just fuck you up just because. Like,
I like you know when they explore like the protagonists and stuff because they did that in Dawn of the Dead too. You know the survivors, they showed them being like really hedonistic once they were in the mall, just doing whatever the fuck they wanted basically.
Exactly.
And then you know the zombies were like, you know, the brain dead consumers and stuff like that in this mall or whatever. But
that's what I thought this movie was like. I was watching it last night, you know, just to rewatch, and I was like, yo, this is something about consumerism and like easily like people being automatons, you know, like it's something.
But I mean, but I liked the protagonist too. I mean, not exactly in that sense, but you know, they kind of explored them, but kind of didn't. It wasn't like super out there what they were feeling and stuff like that. But you know, when the girl, I forget her name,
started with an R, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's
it was
call
something.
her Rachel. Let's call her.
Yeah,
just
whatever.
Call her. Fuck you guys. We're not on Wikipedia.
Oh, I think it was Fran or something. Francine. Yeah.
Francine?
So anyway, she was
something with a R-A.
Yeah, she ended up getting pregnant, but it wasn't this huge big thing. You know, it was like, oh, she's fucking pregnant. Now there's like this whole other thing they have to deal with. You know, and they tried to deal with it, and that was it. And then they escaped. And originally, actually, I don't know if you know this, but originally, apparently they wanted to make Fran and Steven kill themselves at the end instead of getting away.
Wasn't Steven like contemplating shooting himself or something when he was just like, but then he decided, fuck it, I'm gonna go with them.
Yeah, in the final cut, he still was contemplating it, but he didn't do it. Originally, he was supposed to do it.
You know, I would do. I mean, the only way I would kill myself during a zombie apocalypse is like right at that moment they start chewing into me and there's like 20 of them. Then I would shoot myself. But if I'm just if I feel hopeless, no. Like if it's like, I might not survive this, boom.
If you still have like the ability in your body to try to get away, then you have to get away.
Exactly. Until like I see 20 of them starting to eat me, I'm not gonna fucking blow my head off.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, I think those themes were really great in these movies because they were kind of like more internalized, you know.
They were.
It wasn't just right out there. Now everything is like, it has to be explicit, like the audience is stupid. That's probably why people are getting dumber, because they have to have everything explained to them.
Yeah, like, this came from a virus because like I saw, like, unrelated, but I saw some people talking about Terrifier. They're like, there was no plot, it was just some crazy guy killing people. You think real crazy people just sit in their fucking house? Let me think of a reason I do this shit. Bro, someone could be born like from money and just lead the happiest life, but they still just want to kill people. Like, there's no fucking plot.
It's not like they just sit down next to you and they tell you their whole life story and then like, okay, I'm gonna kill you now, and you're like, oh, okay, thanks for telling me that makes sense, just go ahead and fucking kill me.
If some psycho comes up to you with a knife, you're obviously thinking like, yo, what the fuck's going on? Why is this happening? But he's not gonna tell you. You're not gonna find out. That's what I liked about these older movies, like in Dawn of the Dead. They weren't explaining it. They were just like, people are killing each other.
Literally,
like, you gotta cut off their heads and burn the bodies and shit. Like,
in Night of the Living Dead,
I loved it.
It's literally like they just go to the graveyard and then there's zombies. Yeah, and that's it. And then they have to survive, you know.
And then they was that when it was a black and white movie, right?
Yeah,
where they locked themselves in the basement and then the little girl killed her mom with the little fucking. Yeah, I fucking love that movie.
Oh, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. But they didn't explain anything.
Exactly. That's why I think that's the best zombie movie to ever be released.
Yeah,
I think that's better than Dawn of the Dead, but that's another. I mean, because that was like the fucking, let's be real, that was like the fucking pioneer of all of this shit.
Yeah.
That was the Michael Myers of fucking zombie movies, basically.
Yeah, really.
That brought them to the forefront.
Yeah, before that, we just had mostly giallo and monsters and drama, and then thrillers and stuff like that.
Exactly, and then Dawn of the Dead kind of blew it all up. This is when everything started coming to the... Now this is when everyone started to be like, yo, zombies, the dead.
Yeah, dude.
The score was fucking awesome in this movie, too.
I love the score, yeah.
The score was, like, super classic. Like, like it felt like the perfect soundtrack to have for a zombie movie. It was a real zombie movie soundtrack. It wasn't like
it was realistic, but I
Yeah.
mean some people found it goofy because, like, you know, when they were in the mall and that polka music was playing while they were killing
Yeah.
zombies, I was like, man, I kind of wish there was something cooler, you know.
No,
playing,
that's pretty dope. That's pretty cool.
But it makes sense.
In in some movies, you know, they play tiptoe through the window while a killer's killing.
Yeah.
Tiptoe through the window.
That's true.
And it fits. It fits because, like, I don't know. I think it represents some
yeah.
sort of like madness, like, because you have to be mad to be listening to something that like relaxing, calming, and like you're just bashing people's fucking heads in, even if they're zombies.
Yeah, it's an interesting like contrast, I guess. But apparently Dario Argento didn't like it. He worked with Romero on this film, at least mostly on the international side, and he actually replaced a lot of the original score with Goblin music.
Okay.
If you're familiar with Goblin, the band that did the score for Suspiria.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so he replaced a lot of the Dawn of the Dead international versions, original score, like with music from Goblin. So I actually haven't seen that cut, and I haven't heard the score, but I imagine it's really good because the score for Suspiria is phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
Obviously,
Suspiria is one of the best scores. So is
of all time, yeah.
and Burnt Offerings.
And Burnt Offerings too, yeah.
I mention Burnt Offerings anytime someone mentions the score. 70s were a really good time for horror, especially for zombie movies, considering Dawn of the Dead, like I said, they brought zombies, like, they made them like super mainstream then. I mean, after this came out, because Night of the Living Dead, it was like, it's one of those classic movies you turn on at night when you're in like the, 1970s and you're like a 50-year-old guy, you're like, oh, Night of the Living Dead. This kind of like brought, I would say, like, this is probably what I think. Even a lot of movies today take a lot from Dawn of the Dead.
Oh yeah,
like,
for sure.
Because originally, like, let's say Night of the Living Dead, for example, people weren't really the problem. It was the zombies.
Yeah.
And then Dawn of the Dead, I think, introduced like, people can be a huge problem during a time like this. And then now every zombie movie after that, you see people become a giant hindrance in these films.
I mean, Day of the Dead went even further because there were even, like, in the story, there were supposed to be even less humans, you know, so they were like cutthroat with each other. That's why the main antagonist was a dude. But yeah, man, I don't really have that much more to say about Dawn of the Dead. I love the movie so much.
Best tagline ever, though: when there is no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
Yeah.
See,
even
like,
the poster is like super good. It just reeks cult.
Because back in the day, like, it was never really explained, like, oh, this came from a virus, or it was just like, the dead are back, evil is here, evil's walking the earth, like, it was like, ghouls and goblins, like, and witches, and like, now zombies became like one of the classic trademarks of like that Halloween feel. Like,
yeah, dude, I love it because I love zombie movies in all honesty. And yeah, I just wanted to touch kind of like, I feel like Night of the Living Dead, brought attention to zombies, but Dawn of the Dead really pushed it into the mainstream, like you've been saying.
Oh yeah, big time.
And yeah, I'm super happy that it exists and that it's inspired all of these movies. And yeah, I mean, it's just a classic. It's an inspirational film in horror and in cinema in general. George Romero was a genius.
What do you think about the remake as compared to this one?
I actually enjoyed the remake, but in comparison to this one, it's like a way inferior film.
Yeah, that one's like I think the difference is like the super Hollywood feel of the remake, like, oh, the fucking Disturbed and the fucking,
and like in Dawn of the Dead, I was just, I don't know, I was just going along with the ride with the main characters, but in Dawn of the Dead, I just fucking hated them. Yeah. I don't know why. I just didn't like any of the characters in Dawn of the Dead. The remake, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't really care if any of them made it out.
Yeah. And then, all the fat zombies and stuff.
I cared about the blonde and the black dude, like, was it the cop?
Mm-hmm, yeah,
the
shotty. Cop, yeah.
I just cared about them too. I wanted them to make it out. Yeah, I didn't give two shits about anyone else.
Yeah, so I think that was one of the main reasons I felt it was a lot weaker. The score was kind of very standard. The cinematography and stuff like that was okay. I mean, obviously the special effects were excellent.
They could have done more shots of like the dead.
Yeah, but I think that the zombies in Dawn of the Dead, the original, were just way more iconic. They had that like,
they seemed realistic because
bright
like,
blood and stuff.
Because when you die, you turn pale. You're like a ghost. Like,
Yeah,
and
that's what I was kind of thinking.
These guys look like they just died a few hours ago.
Yeah.
In like the modern zombie movies where the flesh is coming off them, that's supposed to be after weeks or months of rotting.
Yeah.
You know, like this just broke out, so I guess they're gonna look fresh. So
yeah, but
should watch Zombie 2 though.
Yeah, dude, Zombie 2 or Zombie by Lucio Fulci is so good.
Isn't that supposed to be like an unofficial remake to this?
Or yeah, remake or sequel, or I think it's supposed to be like an unofficial sequel.
Unofficial
or something
sequel,
like that.
yeah. But doesn't it have like different characters? So how would it?
No, it's completely different. I think it was just a marketing tactic to make it like sell more.
It's when the zombie sticks a piece of wood into the lady's eye, right?
Yeah, that movie's great.
I remember they were talking about that, and we're gonna discuss this probably in the future if we can find the 100 scariest movie moments.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of my favorite shows ever during Halloween on AMC, or was it on Bravo?
Yeah, I used to watch that too. Didn't they have like guest hosts or something?
Yeah,
like that?
First they had 100 scariest movie moments, and then they had 50 scarier movie moments.
Okay.
I remember that used to play along with most terrifying places on earth or whatever.
Yeah.
With that short old lady. She was on
I kind of remember
the one from Leslie Vernon.
Oh yeah.
She used to narrate them like.
Oh wow. Yeah, I miss those shows too. But speaking of scary movies, I think we're going to move on now to our main segment. But first, we just want to include a couple of messages from some of our other great sports radio Detroit shows.
Hi, this is Chris.
And this is Roger.
And if you like Tigers baseball, Major League Baseball, minor league baseball, analytics, pop culture references, movies, sports, food, check us out. Look for Tigers SRD on iTunes, Google Play, or Spotify.
Do you love pop culture? Discussions about pop culture? Ranking and rating treasured pieces of that shared culture against each other?
I mean, I do think Flea's a good bass player. He does what he does very well. And like I said, he's like a rock star, you know? He's eccentric. And what is so funny?
I just didn't know he talked so long about Flea. I didn't know anybody had so many feelings.
I do.
So many
I got
feelings.
yeah.
Music, movies, television, food, sports, pro wrestling. We are the determination of what is over or underrated across all fields of greater cultural consumption. Subscribe and review on Apple Podcasts and Podbean, or visit us at sportsradiodetroit.com. Over, under, fair. Your final word in pop cultural relevance.
All right, so The Conjuring.
Okay, so I'm gonna come right off the bat and I'm gonna make a statement. I'll explain it later after you give me your thoughts. Okay. Conjuring 1 was great.
Okay.
Conjuring 2 was poop. Annabelle was poop. And the second Annabelle was great.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, I didn't care for the first Annabelle at all.
Yeah,
and truth be told, I don't think I've ever seen it with 100% clarity.
Yeah.
You know, I've just been really distracted watching it, but it was a bad movie. I didn't like it at all. It was too cliche.
It was boring.
The characters were just ass. Like they didn't even feel like people to me.
It was boring. I think that was my main problem with it. It was super boring.
Yeah, it wasn't scary. It wasn't even jump scary that much.
It was just
it was just bland.
It was just attempting to cash in on the Conjuring series by giving us a backstory because Barnabas mentioned earlier, people are stupid nowadays and need everything explained to them.
Yeah.
Seems weird how now movies are doing that. Yo, we're going to give you 2 movies and then we're going to give you the prequels and the backstories. Right. And then we're probably gonna do a spin-off in a little bit.
Yeah, I would be okay with 0 prequels. Just tell it in fucking chronological order. If, you're going to do that.
That worked fine. The past 40 years of film.
Seriously,
it's been fine. There's been Halloween 1, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, Halloween 4, Halloween 5, Friday the 13th Part 1. It didn't go Friday the 13th Part 2, and then Jason Voorhees the backstory part 1, and then Jason Voorhees the backstory part 2.
Yeah, no, it didn't. I hate that in horror, and it's mainly in horror.
It really is,
which is dumb.
That's because of the audiences. I blame the audiences.
You know what I would do if I created Hellraiser? Well, Hellraiser's not a good example, but just pretend if I created Hellraiser, then people were just oh, I want to know about Pinhead's backstory and stuff. I would be you know what? You're not going to.
Yeah.
Fuck you. You can watch more movies and think about it more.
I miss when the antagonist used to be an enigma.
Yeah, I love that.
It maintains something mysterious. It had its own allure to it. Now when you spell everything out, you're just like, okay, I understand. Like,
yeah, I mean, even okay, so take like Chucky, you know.
Exactly.
Like, even though you knew that he was some kind of criminal who fucking used some black magic
and he was a
shit
strangler
to put his soul into a doll, like you still didn't really know that much about Chucky.
Exactly.
Until of course like the new movies
kind of. You just knew Charles Lee Ray and he was a child strangler or whatever.
Yeah.
Or woman strangler.
And he was in a doll and the kid got him and then he was just like couldn't control his impulses to murder and he just murdered people.
If it was nowadays, it would be Child's Play 1, Child's Play 2. Yeah. Part 3 would just be called The Story of Charles Lee Ray,
or something with origin,
or just Ray. It would just be called Ray. You know,
Ray.
like Ray Charles, the movie.
Oh
like,
my god!
And there would be Ray 2, The Book of Witches, or something.
Right.
You know, explaining how he learned black magic.
And then it would like go back to Chucky 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
And, oh my god! I'm over it. But anyway, yeah, I thought Annabelle Creation was good, even though it was a prequel.
Yeah, it was
whatever, but
honestly,
it was good. It was a good movie.
My order of how good they are would be The Conjuring, Annabelle Creation, and then Annabelle and The Conjuring 2. Like for me, like they're tied for suckiness. Because Conjuring 2 was so fucking boring, and it didn't even have like a. Like the ending was like, well, I guess we got rid of the ghost. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Okay, listen, I haven't talked about it.
It felt
yet.
like it wasn't well put together. The pacing was really weird. I hated the fact that they took from Insidious like the whole astral projection bullshit because that was like exclusively like an Insidious thing. And now I guess it's because it's Blumhouse. They're like, the fucking got a body. The fuck.
Okay, well, let me tell you my thoughts. The Conjuring 1. Excellent movie. I loved it.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like really jump scare. I don't want to get into that, but I thought it was a good movie.
It kept your eyes glued to this. I didn't want to pull out my phone and go on my phone when I was watching that.
Because it kind of went back to the old like haunted house movies with mysteries in them.
Yeah, and it was like super atmospheric too. Like
yeah.
And
like
we kind of delved into like Ed and Lorraine's characters a little, like
sort of, yeah.
Not like way too much. They were just like, hey, God brought us together.
I mean, even though they were the main characters, they almost didn't feel like it. I think it did a good job balancing like them and then the other family as well.
Big
you
time,
know,
yeah.
so there wasn't like too much of one or the other, and I was always like intrigued by what was happening. And then like when they finally came in and more shit started happening in the movie, I thought it was really cool. But like those suspenseful moments with just the family and they're getting terrorized, like those were all great.
Yeah, I like that.
The fucking
the clapping. Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's what separated
That was
that's what separates this movie from the others. But then, like I said, it had like originality in it. Like like that clapping thing hasn't been done. But then the second one, like I said, with the astral projection, like they kind of I don't know how like. You critics are cocksuckers. Like I don't know how the second one got such a. I remember when they were talking about it coming out, and I was like, "Oh, dude, Conjuring 2 is gonna bomb." And I seen it had over a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes. I was like, "Are you all like, you guys are really like fucking riding this movie's cock?"
Let me say this: I actually like Conjuring 2. You know, I think you know this, but I do like it, and I get your complaints about it, and with some of them I do agree. The pacing was kind of weird. The main thing that I didn't like about this movie is that it felt like there was just too much going on sometimes.
Exactly.
Like too many subplots. You know, you had the main plot with the old man ghost thing, and then he turned out to be Valak the nun. You know, like that in of itself was already kind of a lot. Like you're trying to like throw in too many things to like think about here and shit like that, and it's kind of cluttering it. And then like there was that whole sub thing with like the crooked man or whatever, which I don't know if that was supposed to be like some kind of other manifestation of it or anyway, that was kind of dumb. That was like this whole other side plot. I didn't care that the family was poor and struggling. I'm sorry, I just really didn't, you know.
We all dealt with that, so we kind of we don't have sympathy. Like pull yourself out that hole.
But that was just like another thing that they were trying to add on.
Yeah,
and so the writing kind of felt cluttered, which is probably why the pacing felt bad.
It felt like I don't think the writing was cluttered. It felt lazy, and it felt like pseudo substantial. Like it was like they were trying to add too much substance to it, and and for me,
which made none of the things really feel that like significant.
Yeah, and it made me not want to like piece everything together.
Yeah,
because like I
just didn't know where the pieces were fucking going sometimes.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, like I was like, where is this movie headed? Half the time I was asking myself. I'm not an old guy. actually I am, but this nun demon is making me stay
Yeah.
in this house. Blah.
Yeah, the Conjuring one was great because it had
And the jump scares were perfect.
yeah, it had a central premise.
Exactly.
And I mean, yeah, okay, it showed Ed and Lorraine a few times, like apart from that. But like I said, I think it balanced it well, and everything was still tied into what the family was experiencing,
Exactly.
and that's it.
And it had the character development was good in that one too.
Yeah, yeah.
In the second one, you could give a like you said, you could give a fuck less
Mm-hmm.
about what's going on. But the first one, like, it's just this happy family, da, 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 and then all of a sudden, rah, like
Yeah,
you know, it was
but,
just.
but I mean, the mom was possessed, so it
Yeah.
tied into the story perfectly.
Dude,
the Conjuring
when she
2,
was
there was
when she was possessed, that scared the shit. When she was just fucking crawling under the fucking
yeah,
house.
that was crazy. I like that a lot. Yeah, I mean, the Conjuring 2 kind of lacked in that originality, but I did really like it because mainly the nun. All those parts I feel like were horror perfection.
Yeah.
You know, like when she came out of the painting and stuff, like that actually kind of genuinely scared me, you know. So I thought all of that was great, which is why I'm excited for the Nun movie. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I kind of agree with some points, but I also did kind of like it.
Yeah, it's normal to
it's
enjoy
more
it.
of, yeah, it's more of like an enjoyable watch to me. And I think that some parts of it are really cool. There was also that really funny joke that it was like Ed Warren and they were like setting up for the like shoot or whatever, you know, to like capture the thing, the ghost, and he was carrying that like big ass camera on his shoulders and he was like moving it around and then he was like, it's so like light, you know. And I just couldn't help but laugh as like a filmmaker. That was fucking hilarious.
What'd you think about Annabelle?
The first one,
Yeah.
I think I already told you pretty much what I thought. I didn't really like. I mean, I was pretty distracted when I watched it, but I was just bored. Like nothing was really happening.
I watched all of these movies besides Conjuring 2 in theaters, and I think the thing with Annabelle is it didn't scare me.
Yeah,
Like it
just didn't hold my attention. You know,
me either. Like when I was at the theater, I was with a girl, so my focus
Same.
was like, yo, when should I throw my arm around her?
Right,
Like
yeah.
when's this? And I didn't get a chance because the movie wasn't fucking scary. I didn't fucking like. She didn't even lean in. She wasn't covering
Yeah.
her eyes or nothing.
I think we were so bored. I think we actually like made out in the theater.
Yeah, bro.
Kinda.
I mean,
And there was only like one other person in there anyway. You know,
yeah, I mean, not.
it was bad. Movie.
It was bad, but Creation was actually pretty fucking
I like
good.
Creation, yeah. I mean, it gave like the story a lot more substance because the writing was actually good. I feel like.
I feel like now knowing Annabelle Creation for me, that makes Annabelle like a little better, and even The Conjuring 2 a little better, a little.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think Annabelle should have been like made. I think that
Yeah.
we should have ignored whatever happened in Annabelle, and Annabelle Creation I think should have been Annabelle.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That should have been the whole Annabelle movie.
Setting it in like the modern age, like where it's not even really like the origin story.
Yeah.
Is stupid. Why even
Yeah.
create the movie? Might as well just have it be Annabelle Creation the whole time.
Exactly.
Go with the actual like origin of the doll and shit, and there you go.
You know how these movies should have went in order? Should have been The Nun,
Yeah.
then it should have been Annabelle Creation, and then Annabelle, and then Conjuring 1 and 2 that could have been made into one movie if Conjuring 2 didn't just keep fucking blabbering on and adding on shit. That would have been
Well, it's a whole other like case though. So,
still.
but they could have made it better for sure. But anyway, I kind of agree. So yeah, I mean now we're even going further back with the Nun.
Which is what it should have been in the fucking first place. Like,
Yeah,
fuck Annabelle. Like, why didn't they just make The Nun and then make the Annabelle movie?
I agree. Yeah. Well, obviously because Conjuring 2 came out after Annabelle, but
Oh, yeah.
that's neither here. I mean, they probably could have made the Nun first and then release Conjuring 2. Like, hey,
Because
this
was
is
like
the thing.
what? The Nun was like 400 years ago. Like,
Yeah, or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's like fucking medieval times basically.
you can already tell this movie's not gonna be like. This is gonna be a fucking hopeless movie because like Valak
yeah,
is still here in modern day.
Yeah, I mean, she could have gotten sealed away or something. I don't know. Maybe there is some hope.
She probably gets sealed into like some sort of doll
Yeah.
back then, and then
I mean, the cool thing about the Conjuring universe of movies is that for the most part, there is actually some hope. The Conjuring 1,
oh yeah, one
they
had
all live and
one
stuff.
was great.
Even 2,
It was
You know.
it was a toss up. It was like, is it gone? Like
Yeah,
that was the
yeah.
feel at the end of it. Even that,
just because they were leading up to the Nun.
yeah, like that's how at the end of Conjuring 2, that's how I felt. I was like,
Mhm.
that is that it? Like I was
Right,
like, is
yeah.
Did it leave?
Yeah.
it
So
was
I don't
just-
know. I mean, but I think it's cool. Like, you know, I did actually kind of want to know more about the nun demon. So I mean, I'm pretty glad this is coming out. But I love the setting and everything, and I love the time period and the actual, I don't know, visuals and everything look good, and the nun actually looks scary. You know?
I like the fact that it looks like it's gonna be more of like, I think it's gonna be like, and I'm gonna call it, it's gonna be like the whole movie is gonna be like atmospheric, like,
yeah.
but there's gonna be a lot of jump scares. I think. I think
Yeah, I
that's
think so
I think
too.
that's the only good time to put jump scares is when the movie's like super atmospheric and suspenseful.
Yeah.
Not just randomly, you know, I'm going to my bathroom and then I close
Yeah.
my bathroom mirror and then in the bathroom mirror there's the ghost and he screams at me and then I turn around and he's gone.
Yeah, like it actually has to have like a lead up, you know. It can't just
Yeah.
be like random. Like, oh, here's this person living his life, and then boom, ghost. You
Yeah.
know, that's dumb. It's too abrupt.
I want it to be like some nuns were trying to conjure something and then they fucked up.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we're gonna see, but apparently it's supposed to tell the story, so I'm pumped for that. The last thing I want to leave off with is just real quick, just the influence of the Conjuring movies on horror in general. I mean,
Oh, dude, huge.
Yeah, huge.
Because and let's be real. If Paranormal Activity never got released, Insidious or The Conjuring would not have been made. So
yeah, probably.
let's put it this way. I would say Paranormal Activity was like the
kind of like the catalyst, sort of.
yeah, it was like the cabinet of Dr. Calgary.
Okay.
I would say that's what it kind of was. And then after that, when Insidious came out, Insidious was like the Michael,
Okay.
and then The Conjuring was like the Jason. I would say.
Yeah, I mean, something like that.
I would say actually The Conjuring would be more like Michael because of like the
Yeah.
shaky fucking
Yeah,
the
if we're-
shaky
if we're
story, you
comparing.
know.
Yeah, sort of. I totally get what you're saying.
In terms
yeah.
of like influence, I mean, like
yeah,
how they-
definitely. Yeah.
because no, actually no, Michael would have to be Insidious because
well, we don't have to get into semantics
I know
and stuff.
I
but
just think like I don't know, Insidious was like they're lucky they made that. Otherwise, I don't think they would have made The Conjuring either because
Yeah.
they share a lot of similar elements. Like
oh yeah, for
the
sure.
same shit happens like in. Well, not to sound like I'm putting them down, but like the same type of shit happens. But like you could tell it's Blumhouse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I think I
But,
think
you know, they have their own style, which is cool.
I like honestly I want to see where the Conjuring series goes because as far as right now, I like the Insidious series a lot better.
I mean, yeah, Insidious: The Last Key was.
I gotta
meh.
I gotta watch it through like
Yeah, for real.
when I'm just fucking just drunk out of my mind. That's why I'll pay attention to it. I'll just
Right.
put my phone down and just be like, oh shit. Like, holy fuck, man. Did you see that? Did you see that fucking... Dude, that dude's fingers were fucking keys, man. Like, that type of shit.
Yeah,
like.
yeah, I get it. Yeah, you do, but I don't know. I mean,
Did you, like, kind of, like, lazily watch it, too?
no, I didn't lazily watch it. I think I actually went to the theater to see it.
Oh, yeah, you told me
but,
you went.
Yeah, but
I watched it off fucking... I bought it off Comcast and I didn't watch it. I paid $6 to not
yeah,
watch
you should check it out. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, The Conjuring is centered on the Warrens. They have a lot of other cases. You know, not quite as high profile as the two that have already been explored, but they could probably make a bunch more Conjuring movies if they really wanted to. But I feel like they're almost kind of setting up for some kind of, like, you know, overall arc with the Warren characters. Obviously, they get old. You know,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna do like some kind of time skip or some, I don't know, but I think they might be setting them up to have some kind of, you know, end, whether they die or whatever. So I don't know, we'll see. I
Are
mean,
they dead in real life?
Ed Warren is, yeah. Lorraine Warren's alive, but she's like really old. I don't know how old she is, like 90 something or something.
Jeez.
Yeah. So well, I don't know how long she's got left, but yeah. We'll see what happens with the Conjuring movies, but the influence they've left on horror is so crazy. We have so many imitators now.
Seriously.
So
You
many
got
more
the-
like haunted house type movies.
If you go on Popcorn Flicks, there's even like a bootlegged nun movie. I think it's called
Oh, yeah.
Sacrilege or something.
I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah.
The people always do this. Like they release copycat movies just to throw people off. And
You got
shit.
it. This wasn't the first evil nun movie though.
Oh yeah.
There was American Horror Story where
Mm-hmm.
one of the sisters was literally possessed by Satan.
Yeah.
And then
there's been like older stuff too. I just don't know.
there's
the
another one
titles.
called The Nun from like 2005 too.
Oh yeah. No, I mean from like the 70s and 80s. There's like evil nun stuff, but I don't know the names of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited for it. And
I can't wait, honestly.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm seeing more horror movies like The Conjuring and stuff like that. But yeah, let us know what you guys think about the Conjuring universe of films, including Annabelle. What's your favorite? Do you have any other James Wan favorites? You know, we didn't really talk like a ton about James Wan, but you know, mainly it was about the Conjuring. I think he's, you know, definitely one of the kings of horror right now. I don't really think there's much more to say about that.
Oh yeah.
But we are going to throw it back now with our last segment of this episode, the chopping block. And I said throwback because this one is definitely an homage to the 80s, to movies like even to movies like Trick or Treat. This one is The Barn.
Oh my god, dude. Okay, so now officially, we talked about this already. Official Halloween night movies that we're gonna watch and then are for Halloween: Trick or Treat, both All Hallows Eves, Halloween, and now The Barn.
The Barn, yeah.
Don't forget Halloween 4, but you know, I don't want to list all the Michael movies. Basically, watch Michael.
There's a lot.
You need watch the Michael movies, watch the Trick or Treat, the Art the Clown movies.
Yeah, and The Barn.
I would say Trick or Treat would probably be Trick or Treat or The Barn. I would start off my Halloween with The Barn.
I think that's a good
choice. At least for horror
yeah.
movies, but during the day, you know, I'll start off with something like Halloween Town or
stuff like that. Hocus Pocus.
Yeah,
or some shit,
like spooky but not scary. You know what I'm saying? Like Halloween-esque movies.
Scooby-Doo stuff.
Yes.
Oh, the Scooby-Doo movies are perfection.
I like the Halloween themed like TV shows.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Like when during Halloween time, like each TV show has their Halloween episode, like SpongeBob did with the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah, those are dope. I always was, you know, in like a lot of anticipation for those episodes.
Oh my god, man! I was dying, and I'm just happy like that we found The Barn, because this was seriously a hidden gem.
Seriously, so I mean, we found this movie on Tubi, which TUBI is not a new app, but we just kind of rediscovered it, and they have a ton of horror movies.
Bro, 1001 horror movies.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are set in the 80s. A lot of them are really obscure but good, like Redwood Massacre. They got a movie called It Waits, and we saw, you know, we were looking through the queue, and Barnabas found The Barn. Like, he's like, yo, what's that? What's The Barn? And we looked, and it had some, like, creepy face above it. And we're like, let's check it out. So, start playing it. The camera work is super retro.
Yeah.
The setting is super retro. And right off the bat at the beginning, it has a child being killed.
Right, yeah. And the kill is like really brutal.
Yeah,
too.
the kill is super. Like the kills in this aren't like Halloween. You know, they're not like stab in the darkness and then cut to the next scene. It's like, no, you see everything. Like,
yeah. Well, in a lot of the kills, yes, you do. But actually, a lot of it's kind of, you don't always see him like, you know, smashing the hammer. Down or whatever. But yeah, that I feel like makes it kind of more obvious that it's modern. Not that older movies weren't this gory and brutal and stuff, but
some of them were.
Yeah, but
there's a lot of splatter shit.
But I feel like, you know, with the effects of this and like the cam work and everything, it's fairly obvious that it's kind of a newer film, just because I feel like it's way more willing to show that kind of brutality and stuff. And like, so, but I really liked it. I thought the effects were great. It was all practical. I don't even know. I couldn't even begin to guess how like small of a budget this movie had, but it looked really polished. You know, some of the acting was kind of, but
yeah, the main character, sometimes he had moments.
Yeah,
his friend was good though. What's his name? Sam.
I think it was Josh. Or something
Josh.
Like that.
Sam was the crappy one.
Yeah.
Damn it, Sam. But not crappy, but you know, at some moments it seemed like it seemed like they were trying to be like cheesy's 80 actors. You know what I mean?
It was a little
like,
forced, kind of.
But like the premise was great. It was all based upon like a local urban legend, like don't knock on the barn, and people are like, well, what if they got better candy in the barn? I'm like, yeah. In what universe does that shit make any fucking sense?
Right.
Like,
but basically, it was like a folklore about these three, I don't know what they were, demons or something.
Yeah, they're supposed to make sacrifices for Satan.
Yeah, and so if you knock on their barn door saying trick or treat, then they kill you.
Yeah.
And make their offering. And they're all like, well, one is the boogeyman, which is like this miner or something.
He was the best out of.
Yeah, he
I
was
liked
the
him the
coolest.
best. Then there was the pumpkin patch guy.
The candy corn scarecrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was I forgot what the pumpkin guy's name was.
The
Hollow Jack or something like that.
They're gonna have me kicking pumpkins this whole Halloween. So
Right.
basically, with the pumpkin dude, wherever there's a jack-o'-lantern, he can like form.
Mhm.
So if
Yeah.
you got a jack, like even at one point, there's an old dude in the movie. He's like the crazy old guy. Like, you're gonna thank me for this. Like he's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
kicking the fuck out of jack-o'-lanterns. Like,
Yeah, they had a lot of those guys in like old 80s movies too, you know, like those kind of characters
yeah,
that were like they knew what was going on, but they were only on screen for like 2 seconds or something to like,
Yeah, like
warn
the-
the characters or
like the
whatever.
old dude that was warning people on Friday the 13th
Yeah.
when he got before he got strangled by Jason with the
And there was
rope in the
there was
second
one in like there was that old dude in Night of the Demons too, right? Warning them about the candy or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Or was it something like that.
There's always a old dude warning people, and
Yeah.
no one listens to the old timers.
Yeah. So there were a lot of these like kind of cool 80s Easter eggs, and I actually kind of read up on it. And the director, Justin Seaman, Seaman, because I don't even want to say Seaman.
Yeah, it's Seaman. Seaman. You ever played the South Park game where like you meet up with the Seaman? He's like Aquaman,
Yeah.
and then I forgot who was like Tim Jesus. He's like,
Wasn't he like gay or something?
yeah, he's like, hey Jesus. He's like, hey Seaman. It's Seaman.
Seaman.
It's Seaman. Is it Seaman? I hope so.
Oh, I don't know. But anyway, Justin Seaman apparently began planning for the barn over a period of years and based the movie's script on a small book he wrote when he was only 8. And then it mentions that in order to achieve the 80s feel, the crew attempted to replicate 80s camera work and lighting techniques.
Well,
So
they
I don't
did good.
Yeah, I don't know if that means that they used film. I'm assuming not. It was probably in post, but they did a great job. It looked super retro, like I was actually watching an 80s movie.
Yeah, it and like I love the super like zany Halloween characters like right off the bat. Like they were just pranking people. Like
Yeah.
like they pranked the kids, and then the older lady. Her acting was bad, but
Yeah, it was.
she was like your stereotypical. You'll see.
Yeah.
Old lady.
Trying to
There's
be that harbinger of doom or whatever.
Yeah, there's always one of those, but this movie had everything.
Mhm.
The killer guys, fucking, I give it a good 9 out of 10. Like,
Yeah, they were great.
I really like the get up.
Mhm.
Story, I love urban legends. This is a 9 out of 10 for me as well.
Yeah, great story.
Character development, you actually do give a fuck if the characters make it out or not. you
Yeah,
know?
Josh had the best character. I actually wanted him to live. you
Josh,
know?
oh man, when I thought he died, spoiler alert,
Yeah, I was kind of sad.
I was sad because like that was my favorite dude because he seemed like the only one that should make it out alive.
Right, like he was kind of level-headed actually, you know.
Yeah.
Like he didn't want to just like go gung-ho and try to attack these demons or whatever.
He did though when that chick got killed.
Kind of, yeah.
That's when he kind of
But-
lost his shit, and Sam was like, "Yo, chill out, bro."
Yeah, but he was kind of trying to be like the voice of reason sometimes.
Yeah, he was, and that's
So-
why I liked him. I think he's even the one that. No, I think it was Sam that pointed out, "Yo, if we're wearing our masks, they don't attack us." Like,
Yeah, he was the one with all the like Halloween knowledge and
Yeah.
knowledge about the folklore, so that's why he was the central character. I just wish like him as a person was more interesting, kind of, or like his acting. But
dude, that massacre at the little party or whatever.
oh yeah,
that was
was
fucking
sick.
crazy. The pacing of this movie was amazing too.
I liked it,
Like
yeah.
it was like it all happens basically in one night. We get a
Mm-hmm.
flashback of something that happened back in like the 50s, and then all of a sudden we're like to the 1980s, you know. And
Yeah.
like, you know, people are like, well, did you hear about the barn? It's like, what do you mean about the barn? If you
Right.
knock on, let's all knock on the barn. Oh, what could go wrong? And then like the first death was cool. Like,
yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but
Oh my God! Watch this movie. Download.
Yeah, it was
we
great.
We don't get paid to endorse. We endorse what's good. Okay.
Right.
Download Tubi.
Mhm.
If you have a fire,
great.
if you have a Fire Stick or a Fire TV, Tubi has no advertisements.
Mhm.
Like, I've been
Yeah, you
watching
have to.
horror movies like the past, like 2 weeks, like just off of Tubi.
there's so many options. I mean, a lot of them are kind of bad, but the barn was phenomenal. I really liked it.
The score too.
Yeah, the score was super retro.
It was amazingly retro.
very 80s. But you know what? I think actually like just from the way it like began, it reminded me of Madman,
Yeah.
which was dope.
Madman-
Except this one had like 2 more antagonists, but
I'm not gonna lie, Madman is like one of the best 80s slashers.
I would agree
period.
with that. Yeah, for sure.
And this is one of the best independent horror movies. Like, in the
Yeah.
past few years.
I was
would
gonna say like
because
modern
it's-
slashers.
Seriously,
definitely one of the
because
best.
I mean, since besides All Hallows Eve, I haven't watched that like these Halloween themed movies and
Mhm.
been like, wow, so good.
Yeah,
Until
I
I
think
saw
they're
this,
really
like
good.
it had the Halloween feel, pumpkins everywhere, kids
Mhm.
trick or treating, like it felt like they were in real life. It wasn't like a movie
Yeah.
set where like, all right, now you come over here, you walk over
Mhm.
here. There wasn't like 6 people, just there was people everywhere.
Yeah, but it had a small town feel to it still,
I love that.
which
it
was
felt
great.
like some the small town feel. It really actually it reminded me a lot of My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah, it did. I agree
Especially
with
like
that.
right at the beginning of My Bloody Valentine, like where they're all hanging out at that one place.
Mhm.
I think they were having like a little party, just like on
I
this.
remember, yeah.
It had the same vibes, honestly, for me.
Yeah, it was very cool. And then they had like the classic like moment where they gear up and go to fight.
Oh
like,
man, there's always some sort
the
of
bad
like
guys.
they had the little what's it called, the little montage, like.
Yeah. Just of them like putting all their gear on and like equipping their weapons.
I want to
and stuff.
I want to get some of those reflective vests.
Yeah,
We were
those
talking
are cool.
about
Yeah.
that.
I forget what the name of their like little like company was, but it was some kind of like lawn mowing service or something like that. I don't know, but
But yeah, final
Yeah.
thoughts. I think this is a great. This is a and I'm you know me. I'm very very like nihilistic and
Yeah.
I'm very very critical. This movie like touched my feels. Like it doesn't have to be a logical thing for me to like a movie. Just hit me with some nostalgia and some Halloween. The Halloween spirit in this movie is like
Yeah.
it's like it radiates, bro. Like there's heavy Halloween spirit. Like even if this film wasn't filmed in October or like fall time, it really felt like a Halloween time movie.
I
And
agree.
This is
yeah.
definitely gonna be one of the classics. I wish like stuff like this would get out there more.
Yeah, this movie definitely needs more attention because I had no idea it
Because
existed.
The way we found it is we were, like I said, we were scrolling through the feed and
Mhm.
Barnabas was just like, "Yo, look at the barn, look at that guy."
Yeah.
Like what is that? And
Yeah, the
we're-
description was like 80s throwback slasher or something like that, and we were like, oh, okay.
immediately I wanted to get on that.
Mhm.
And honestly, that's. And I was talking about it last week too. I was like, this is gonna be one of those days where I'm gonna look back and I'm like, yo, you remember when we found the barn and we were
Yeah.
eating popcorn? What a good fucking day! Like,
Yeah, it was a great night.
yeah. Final thoughts. The acting was man. I give it like I'll be generous. I'll give it a good 7
Okay.
because -3 for like the monotoneness. And,
Yeah.
But like the practical effects were great. I love the practical effects. The monsters, killers, whatever you want to call them, are great. 9 out of 10
Mhm.
for me. The Halloween spirit vibe, 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Like overall, this movie is not chopped.
Yeah, definitely not.
I give it a solid 9 out of 10. Like
Nice.
it's gonna be in my classics, like I said, to watch with Halloween Town, Halloween, and all those classic Halloween movies. And I'm
Yeah.
so happy that was it Justin Seaman?
Yeah. Seaman.
Seaman. Seaman. I'm so happy that Justin M. Seaman, like, it doesn't even sound right. Seaman, like,
Yeah.
I just won't think about the liquidy nut. But Justin Seaman, bro,
Seaman.
even though we're joking about your name, you created
Yeah.
this fucking masterpiece.
He
And
did a
I
hell
don't,
of a job.
I don't even think you realize. I don't even think he realizes that he made such a good movie. Like,
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it was kind of a passion project for him. So I hope that he realizes that there are fans out there. And if you guys are listening, go check it out and spread the word, man. Because
This is why we're here. I mean, like,
Yeah.
we've always talked about, like, yo, I want to, like, tell people about these obscure movies I
Mhm.
watched. And, like, now we could share this with you.
do it, yeah. So yeah, dudes, go check out The Barn on Tubi.
That's TUBI.
TUBI.
You can get it on your phones. It's available on your phones, your,
Yeah,
your
laptop,
Xbox,
whatever.
laptop, Fire TV, Roku. That's TUBI. So much horror, bro. I'm not even joking. Like,
Yeah.
they got the original Evil Dead.
Mhm.
They got It Waits.
Don't they have do they have Suspiria?
They have Suspiria.
Yeah, I think they have Suspiria.
They have Suspiria. They have so much shit. They have a lot of zombie movies as
Mhm.
well. A lot of paranormal movies, and a lot of cult classic movies like Drive-In
Yeah.
Massacre, Driller Killer.
Driller Killer, yeah.
They have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, go check it out. We highly recommend it. And let us know what you guys think of The Barn. Were we right to not chop it? Or should it have been obliterated?
Never.
Yeah.
The Bond will never die. And it's
I like it a lot.
2016 too, so
Yeah.
like super recent and
Yeah.
amazing.
I was just going to say last thing before we finish up here. I just wanted to say real quick that I feel like independent of the whole like Halloween nature of it and stuff like that, and the nostalgia, I think it was a good movie. Apart from that,
yeah.
you know, so,
I think so too.
yeah. So I think that's pretty much going to do it here. We just want to leave off with some final ways that you guys can follow more of our ghoulishness. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Grave Discussions. On Twitter, we are Gravedisc SRD, and then we also have a brand new website.
That's gravediscussions.net. We have our About Me's in there if you want to know a little bit about us.
Mm-hmm.
Our episodes lead you right to that archive.
Yep.
Right to Sports Radio Detroit. Don't forget to check them out as well at SRD. They have a Twitter, Facebook, and an Instagram. That's Sports Radio Detroit.
Yep. And I think it was actually announced, but just another real quick thing here. We are going to be doing a special Halloween episode. That's Halloween, the new movie that's coming out.
Yes.
With the good people over at Over Under Fair. And so that should be coming out. Hopefully, you know, we're going to release it pretty soon. We're going to have a general discussion. Then there's going to be, I think they're going to release the episode once the movie is out.
And we're going to do like a general discussion about the series in general.
Yeah.
Because the franchise, because I'm out of all the horror that exists, I'm a Michael and a Jason freak.
Yeah.
So anything to do with these guys, like these were like some of my obsessions when I was young. I owned multiple Jason masks and machetes and toys, multiple Michael masks and knives, and I had like my whole life I've owned more than 10 Michael Myers masks. So
yeah,
every year it's weird. Every year I buy a Michael Myers mask.
Yeah, it's
just the past 2 years I haven't, because like it's been a rough few years.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Now that I'm back into the groove of things, bro, like
yeah, it's like tradition. I know a lot of you guys are like that too. So be on the lookout for that episode. Just go check out Sports Radio Detroit and all of our stuff. But I think that's going to do it here.
Yeah, it is. And make sure you catch us next week and the week after that and the week after that ad infinitum, and we will see you on Grave Discussions.
This has been an SRD production.